Hi, I here. This is a reading for the sign of Sagittarius. We're going to do a Celtic cross spread with the Thoth deck, and what we see on the bottom of the deck is going to represent what you don't see coming. And once we get an idea of what the general message of this reading is going to be, we're going to pull 3 cards from the shadow deck to see what's going on in your subconscious, and to see if there are any further clarifications we might need. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so today we are tuning in to the sign of Sagittarius. So if that is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, or however else you choose today to identify with the sign of Sagittarius, you can use that as a way to interpret the messages that are coming through. And as always, if the details of these messages do not seem to fit, do not try to force them. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if none of the details are really seeming to fit your life or situation, that's okay. You can always check your other placements, or you can just stick around and see what's going on in the world of other Sagittarians. So let us see what messages we get today. What things should we think about? What things should we meditate upon? Are there any warnings that we should look out for? Things that we should be made aware of so we can try to avoid them? Or are there any things we should look forward to? Things we can perhaps put our energy into or move towards to make our life a little bit easier, more enjoyable, better? Just positive things we can potentially get by paying a little bit more attention to what's around us. What things should we think about? What things should we be made aware of? What messages can we receive today for those who are trying to tap into the energy of the sign of Sagittarius? Okay, so let's see what we get. Okay, that feels good. Okay, so we start now in the present moment with an Ace of Cups. That's a fantastic way to start, right? A new opportunity or creative spark from the side of our emotional part of our bodies, I guess I can say. It's a offering of something that is going to really tap into our emotional sides. It's something that's going to help us feel a little bit more in touch with our sensitivities and our emotional resonances in the world. This could be anything, you know. As you can tell, I'm slightly struggling with a way to describe it because it's the source of the energy of water. It's the source of our emotions, our feelings, the things that really make us feel, for lack of a better phrasing, right? So let's see what we get. We're just crossing that. Ooh, a 3 of discs. That's pretty nice. That's the expansion of something in our physical world. This is creation, building upon something and extending it forward in some way. So it's really nice. We've got a good grounding of something emotional that is then expanding upon or in conjunction with something that is growing in our lives. So this is great. This is really good, positive growth here. Let's see what is surrounding it. Well, look at that. Victory, 6 of Wands. Followed by the Devil. We have a 10 of Wands underneath it. There we have a Knight of Swords. It's a little mix there. We have an 8 of Wands. A 3 of Wands. A 8 of Swords. And a 4 of Cups. Okay. So this is an interesting little set of cards. We started off with a really positive note. We have the devil in the middle of everything there, really making his presence known. Um, we have some positive things, but we have some challenges too. So let's see what's going on here. So, in terms of our major arcana, we exclusively have the devil. How nice, right? In terms of our court cards, we just have a Knight of Swords. So, there's not a lot of other people involved in this. This is likely something internal to what you're experiencing or something you're going through. It's not something involving a lot of extra parties. That's what a lot of court cards represent. Typically, a situation where there's going to be a lot of other people involved or a lot of more than just yourself. This is likely something that is internal to you, is the vibe I'm getting. In terms of our other energies, it looks like in terms of fire, we have an Eight of Wands, a Six, or excuse me, a Ten of Wands, an Eight of Wands, a Six of Wands, and a Three of Wands. Lots of fire, right? Good. Almost half of this is fire energy, and that's nice. In terms of our water, we have an Ace of Cups and a Four of Cups. In terms of air energy, we have the Knight of Swords and the Eight of Swords. And our earth energy is exclusively the Three of Pentacles and that earthy Capricorn energy of the devil. Okay. So a little bit heavy on the fire, a little light on the air. Well, a little light on the. It's kind of even, just heavy on the fire, really. So, okay, what is going on here? So we've got an Ace of Cups and a Three of Discs that's sitting on top of it. So as I said, the Ace of Cups is the source of emotional energy. In the present moment, perhaps you're tapping into a really powerful emotional part of yourself. Maybe you've been cold in the past, or maybe you are just expanding upon how you are sort of connecting with the emotional side of your life. But this isn't just happening internally with your feelings. You're building upon it. You are taking that energy and you are using it as a source of bettering either yourself or your environment in some way. I think with the Six of Wands in the recent past, this was born out of some kind of reconnecting with something that empowers you. It's the victory card. So some passion that you maybe had not used or tapped into for a while is something I get the vibe that perhaps you maybe dusted something off the shelf, metaphorically speaking. You took something that you hadn't really connected with in a while, and realized just how strong this made you feel. Something I think from your past. I think there was something that used to really bring you a lot of excitement, that you decided, I'm going to give this another shot, and you realized just how good you still are at it. And that has opened up a new door that had been closed for an extended period of time for you. And so now I think what you want to do is you want to take that reconnecting with that passion and you want to use it to do something. I don't know what that is, but you want to do something with it. To have the devil in the like in our near future here, that I'm not seeing what that would be, other than perhaps that's that desire to take this passion and to really let it empower you almost to a fault. I think whatever this is that you've connected with, it's something that you really care about. It's something that makes you feel alive. I mean, maybe it's a bad habit. Maybe I'm not seeing, other than the fact that it's the devil there, I'm not seeing a lot of negativity coming from whatever this habit is. But I am getting the sense that perhaps you are so passionate about it to a fault. Perhaps maybe that's why you put it on the shelf for a while. Maybe there was something that you really enjoyed that really made you feel alive, and you sort of said, "Okay, I gotta put this away for a while." But you've tapped back into it. It is something that really you feel strongly about. It's something that you can build upon. Um, with the Ten of Wands down there at the bottom, I'm wondering if perhaps this was something that you felt was wrapped up in your past. Maybe it's something that you got. I'm getting the vibe that this is something you were kind of obsessive about. And with that 10 down there, I feel like it was something that almost became a burden. But between the devil and the 10, I feel like this was something that was so heavy for you, like you once you get into it, you can't stop. And so there with the Knight of Swords up there at the top of all of this is perhaps there's a realization that you currently have that this is something that you should be careful about. As I'm reading this, it's feeling more negative as we go forward. Um, it's something that I think has reinvigorated some amount of passion in you, but it's something you should be careful with. You feel connected to it. It's something that is expanding in your world, and maybe that expansion is both good and bad. Maybe that's kind of the idea here with the six and the devil on either sides here is on one side, perhaps, rather than not thinking this as much as a timeline, but perhaps more of, this is something that on one end can bring you a lot of joy and victory. It makes you feel strong and powerful, but on the other side of that, it's something that is almost intoxicating about how powerful it makes you feel. And I think the reason that perhaps in the past that you let go of this and did not keep working on it is, in fact, the burden of carrying this passion. The burden of knowing that this is something that, although you're good at it, it maybe is something that you have a hard time keeping controlled, whatever that is. And so with the Knight of Swords, I think that's the realization that this is something that is both good and bad for you. And trying to navigate that space yourself and trying to say, okay, in the past maybe I had to let go of this because it was something that like really empowered me, but I kind of lost control of it. And now let's give it another go and try to get some control over it and try to use it in a constructive way. I don't know what this is. It could be anything really, but the longer I look at that's kind of what I'm feeling is the energy from this whole side here. This side of the cross is telling us you've got something that makes you feel powerful, something you could build upon and expand upon, but we have to make sure that that expansion stays steady because it's already sort of at capacity from the start. And if it grows too much, it's something that can lead us into negative behavior with the devil. Even though it does give us this strength that we have with the Six of Wands, a sense of accomplishment, because we know that we can do something that is, I don't know what this is for you. Um, but yeah, the Knight of Swords is you trying to use your intellect and your mind to control this, which is a dangerous thing to do if it's something that makes you feel really invigorated in a physical or passionate sense, because the mind can only get you so far in the things that make us feel alive. That's part of the difficulty of the devil card is that the devil is not inherently bad, but the energy that he sort of like presents to us is something that is very difficult to control without it getting overwhelming and starting to manipulate our behaviors and take us into dark territory. So it's really really delicate stepping around whatever the devil is bringing in your life there. So let's be careful with that. Here with the Eight of Wands, I think this is perhaps what we're trying to get control over with our mental energy of the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords is us trying to get that, like I said, it's trying to get a mental control over the power that we feel with whatever this thing is. And so this is that feeling that you probably have as you are experiencing whatever this does for you. This intense energy is making you feel sort of erratic and all over the place, and that can be good, that can be bad. Um, it's just this is what we're trying to control. Okay? And when this moves into the wrong direction, it can lead us towards negative devil behavior, but when channeled in the right direction, it can lead us towards victory. So we got to keep that balance, keep that control. And so, yeah, we have to really be thinking about how we're feeling and processing whatever this is for you. Again, I have no idea what this could be. I don't even have an idea what this might be. But it's some. I feel like it's some activity that in your past you used to connect with that you put away for some time. You have taken it back out and decided to tap into it again, and it is empowering. And it's something you want to nurture and use, but you have to be careful to not let this thing get out of control. Okay, whatever that is for your life and your situation. That's what I'm getting from this. So we're trying to use our mind to get control over how this makes us feel. Right, we're telling ourselves, okay, we're going to stay grounded, stay in control of this. Let's not get obsessive about it and let ourselves run all over the place and start doing, whatever might happen. So now in the environment, we've got our Three of Wands. So with the Three of Wands, I think that is perhaps the energy of this getting away from us without us necessarily realizing it. So we're trying to get control over this scattering energy and using our mind to sort of like keep ourselves in check. And perhaps you can maybe almost visualize it as the 8 to the 3 is us trying to take all of this and compress it, but as we compress that energy, it like wants to go out faster. It wants to expand forward even more quickly than we're able to see. And that's kind of part of the danger of trying to get mental control over whatever this is that as we try to compress that energy, if we're not expelling that energy as we're compressing it, the pressure builds and it can get away from us. And so it's interesting that that's the virtue card because I think that perhaps in some sense that's what we're losing touch with. Um, Not to say this in a sort of like traditionalist view of good and evil with virtue and the devil here, but it's more I think that what we're losing control we're just to me it feels like a sense of losing control of the energy because we're just trying to get a hold of all of it and we can't. It's like the more we try to hold on to it, the more there is that gets away from us, and it's even harder to reach after that once it's beyond our grasp. And so with this virtue card, I feel like that's the energy getting away from us, and so we don't even sense so much that energy has not is expelled from us. Okay, it's like we put it out into the world as we try to get control over it, and that's one of those things you do something and you're trying to get some control over it, and then you realize that the people around you are feeling what you're doing more so than you're feeling it. You get so invested in something. It's like you want to look at it in terms of like, oh, I got my blinders on and I can't see what's going on, but I'm feeling it more in this context of like your passion is like radiating off you so intensely that it's like it's like they say your reputation precedes you. This is like your energy precedes you. It's like people can sense this sort of like uncontrolled energy before you are even there to express how uncontrolled it is. Okay, it's like you're giving off a vibe of not being able to keep this on track, and other people can sense that. So, with the challenge, we have the Eight of Swords. This is the card of interference. So that's interesting. With the interference card, this is usually a card of some kind of entrapment of our thoughts. I think the vibe that I get from this in the context of everything we've been looking at here is that the interference is the challenge because as this energy is getting away from you, again, you're trying to use your mind to sort of get it in control. And I think that's almost a little foolhardy here because like the point is that this energy is something that's more physical than mental. Whatever this is for you that you're feeling, it's something that can get away from you because it's so intense for you. You can't hold on to it. And so you're trying to use your mind to sort of rationalize how to hold on to it. And so the challenge is trying to put a gate around this thing that you can't put a gate around. Normally, with the Eight of Swords, the interference is that we are stuck ourselves and blocked from something. But to me, I'm feeling that this is you trying to block this energy and to keep it from getting away from you. So whatever this is, it's not that this thing is an inherently bad behavior. I feel like I'm painting it in this really dark way. It's just that it's so much power that it's hard to hold on to. Which I mean, this is a reading for Sagittarius. One of the things about Sagittarians is they're always trying to connect with everything. They're that fire that wants to just like touch the whole field and you'd be careful to not burn everything down with that passion that you've got. And I feel like that's what this reading is about, is that you're connecting with something in your life that makes you feel so energized that you can't really realize just how much it gets away from you. And and when it reaches that point, it's so far away from you, you can't sense that, but other people can. And so you're just trying to use your mind to sort of keep it in check, when in reality, it's something it's not mental. It's passion. It's physical and energetically just sort of oozing out of you. So people can sense that. even if you don't. I mean, the other thing is too, the Eight of Swords could be the blockage of you not realizing just how much this has gotten away from you, or how much it does get away from you. Okay, so again, this energy of the devil, I'm not saying that this is something that's inherently unhealthy or evil or dark or anything like that. It's just, I think it's an energy that is difficult for you to control because you feel so passionate about it. Okay. So in the final card there at the top, we have the likely outcome. We have the Four of Cups, and perhaps that is the solution here, right? We're trying to put a cap on this using our mind, when in reality, it seems like what might be the better thing to sort of dissolve all this energy is to put some water on it, calm it down. Four of Cups is very stable, very almost stiff kind of emotional energy. It's luxury, it's comfort. It's not a card of growth. It's a card of staying sort of where you're at. Emotionally comfortable is kind of a way I would describe it. And if the idea is that this fire is getting away from us and we're trying to contain it by rationalizing it, I think that's trying to tell us that the real solution is not to rationalize that energy, but to neutralize it with a little bit of water. You know, if you've got a bonfire, or you're trying to barbecue or something, that fire gets out of control, you don't sit there and say, oh, well, you know, I can get rid of this fire by just waiting for it to burn out, or it'll be okay because the fire may be burning really heavy, but, you know, you can't rationalize your way in that situation. You got to do something about it. And I think that thing that you need to do is put a little water on it, splash it down, cool it down, keep it in control. Again, I don't want this card of the devil to be saying that this is something evil or dangerous. It's just that this is something that can get out of control, that needs to be tempered with some kind of smooth, soft energy that can help it get a little back down from, like, you know, the fire's up here at like a 9 or a 10, and we want to get it down to a nice, cool, comfortable, like a 7 or 8 or you know. I don't know what number scale we're using here. Just, you want to get that fire into a nice, comfortable place where it stays stable. Okay? And so I think that Four of Cups is you needing to tap into either your or those around you emotional sides of things. You want to, people who help you, that are there to comfort you, whatever your support system is, let them help you get some control over this by letting them, you know, sort of connect with you in an emotional way. And, you know, again, we have this Ace of Cups that is the birth of all of this energy. But as it grows and grows and grows into our world, as it expands into our physical realm and isn't just a feeling, it seems like the fiery side of this activity is taking over, and we need to get that back down again. So, you know, it's born out of a good place. We just need to keep it controlled, is the sense I'm getting here. So hopefully that made some sense. It was an interesting reading. That one was a little challenging, really, to get through and make sense of all the energies here. But that seems to be the vibe I'm getting from it. So hopefully that connected with you in some way. Let's see now. What you don't see coming is the Emperor. Yeah, you want to be in command. Now, again, this is more fire energy. This is Aries energy. But we want to be in control. I think that's the message here, is we want to get in control. We don't want the Emperor to be simply making decisions from a place of passion and intensity. We can try to rationalize the way we're feeling, but that's not going to really temper the aggression of the Emperor energy that's coming through. So if we really want to be truly in command, that's going to come, again, I think, by cooling this down and letting some nice, soft, watery, nurturing energy keep this all in balance and check. Okay? All right, so let's see what the shadow deck has for us. Interesting reading. Sometimes I can see the message right away, and sometimes it's a matter of sort of sitting with it and letting it kind of come out over time. This was one that definitely needed to come out more slowly, but yeah, no, I feel like that's definitely the message that's coming through. It's this idea of something that's growing. I think it's interesting that this was something that sort of is born out of a emotional, watery cup source, and then the solution to it is to put more water on it. It's like we have something that really makes us feel really good emotionally, and then it's like it almost like triggers a sort of chaotic, fiery passion inside of us, and that's not bad, but it just like we can't let that get away from us. And simply trying to rationalize the situation doesn't solve anything. It's trying to get that watery energy in balance. Expand. Maybe here's a way to think about it. As you're letting it expand, let it expand emotionally and not just passionately. Let the water energy grow, not just the fire energy, and that'll keep things in a little bit more of a controlled, safe environment, as opposed to letting the fire take over and losing control, and then you kind of lose touch with that initial emotional source that you had from the beginning. That was what really was the reason you got excited about it. So don't let your excitement, ruin the joy of whatever it is that you are tapping into. That makes some sense. I hope that makes some sense. That's what the energy is saying, at least. Okay, so let's see what's going on in your subconscious. We'll wrap this reading up. Alright. Okay, that feels good. Alright, so we've got a magician, Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Spheres. Whoa, okay. Not what I would have expected to see here. Interesting. So, well, the magician is the creator. This is someone who is taking information and building something from that information. So for that to be in your subconscious, I think all of this passionate energy, maybe that's the intoxicating side of all of this passionate energy, is whatever this thing was that really was waking you up. Again, I feel like it was something from your past that you put away that you're picking back up. It's something that you almost have. It's like an art for you. It's something that you are able to, perhaps it's something that allows you to express yourself in a way that you don't feel like you can express yourself otherwise. The expansion into your 3D world, the Three of Discs card, is perhaps the energy of the magician that you're tapping into. Whatever this is that makes you feel alive, your ability to create and use it to build things is the magician energy, is how you're feeling it internally. So and I think that is probably why this emotional source takes off with this fiery energy, is that whatever this wakes up inside of you, it empowers you to feel like the magician. You're able to create and express things in a beautiful way, but it's like the power then is almost too much for you, and it's hard to keep under control. With the Wheel of Fortune, I'm getting a vibe of like expansion from that. So I think what's happening here is that this thing that wakes you up, it gives you this power inside of you that is represented by the magician, and that energy allows you to be able to identify things you can create with it. So it's like you feel this Ace of Cups energy inside of you. You then visualize it inside of you things that you can use to express that feeling, and that's the Ace of Spheres. And so it's like when you feel this emotional energy, you are then able to see what you can do with it. You take the energy of the magician and you start shaping it into your actual world, so this is like the inspiration for the ideas of what you want to make and build with this passion. You then start building it with the Three of Discs. And then I think the Wheel of Fortune is the spin to see, is this going to be a good or bad thing? It's like you create things in your world that make you feel really passionate and inspired, but then it's like it can get away from you. And that's the wheel, is like, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Is this going to be a victory? Or is this going to be an obsession with the devil? Whatever I'm building, is it something that's going to make me feel like I've succeeded at something? Or is it something I'm going to keep working on to a fault? Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing here, is you feel that Ace of Cups energy. It inspires you to build something new, or to work on some, I mean, maybe it's not even a single project, maybe it's just a behavior pattern that, like, you feel something, you decide you want to create, you then start creating, that sense of creation makes you feel really empowered and really like, oh, I got this. You feel like the magician. And then that's where things start to get a little unhinged sometimes, where it's either successfully working on a project or letting the project get away from you. And then you try to rationalize the behavior and try to make sense of it, and you end up losing even more control over it. So then we have to kind of ground it again with some emotional energy to get back in touch with whatever it was that started this whole process in the first place. So interesting, very interesting. Okay, I hope that makes some sense, but that's what I'm getting from that. And when you don't see is the moon. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like this is a pattern more than an actual project. Maybe it isn't some. I mean, maybe when I was tapping into that idea that it's like it's something from your past, it's because you've done this cycle many times before. And so perhaps the moon in your subconscious is not identifying that this is a pattern that is occurring. It's like you keep doing this and it's great. I mean, you're Sagittarius, right? You want to do everything. You want to get involved and experience so many different things almost to a fault. And so I think the moon is navigating a space where you can still tap into that kind of energy and feel that kind of passion without letting it get away from you. So interesting cards. Interesting reading. Again, I hope this made some sense. But yeah, that's what I've got for you today. So as always, if the messages or images in these cards sort of speak to you in a different way, if you're getting a different sort of vibe from this, or if you got whatever message comes through based on what I'm saying and what you're seeing here, let that be the message you need to receive. So whatever you're getting from this, again, I don't know what this particular situation is for you or what activity this is. I'm getting the sense it's more of a routine behavior now more than anything. But whatever message comes through these cards, use your intuition to get the message that you need to receive. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope it was enjoyable. I hope I was able to give you maybe some things to think about, some insights perhaps. But that's all I have for you. As always, please like and subscribe. Leave comments if you have anything you'd like to share. If you have some ideas about what this might be for you, if this is something that you recognize as a pattern within yourself, please feel free to share down below. And if you have anyone that you think would enjoy or benefit from this or any of my other videos, please share them as you see fit. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And again, I hope this was helpful. And yeah, I'll see you later.